Hello and welcome to another episode of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Katie Aloy Knight. We have a great show lined up for you today. It is also World Day of Social Justice, being observed under the theme Renewed Commitment to Social Development and Social Justice, which highlights the goal of ensuring fair access to opportunities for all. So without further ado, let's begin the show, but first we head to the newsroom.
Good day, I'm Lisa Rowe and this is your JIS News for Friday, February 20, 2026. Jamaica's declining murder rate is evidence of the state's systematic degrading of the ecosystem of organized violence and the disruption of gang leadership, constraining their finance and reducing criminals' territorial control. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness made that assertion while addressing the 4th Annual Security Seminar of the Office of the National Security Advisor on Thursday. He says the results being seen are the result of deliberate and sustained institutional reform of the security architecture, which now has resilience as a central organizing principle of Jamaica's security strategy. The Prime Minister says resilience demands consolidation, stressing that the security gains must be locked in by development or they will be contested again by criminals.
Communities once controlled by gangs must become structurally and permanently inhospitable to their return. That means secure public spaces, reliable infrastructure, ordered community development, lawful economic opportunities, and consistent state presence. Where gangs once governed through fear, the state must now govern through presence, legitimacy, and the provision of opportunities.
More than 30 tons of humanitarian aid have been donated to Jamaica by the government of Mexico to support recovery efforts following Hurricane Melissa. Speaking at the official handover ceremony this week, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, expressed gratitude for the assistance.
Your generous donation of more than 30,000 tons of aid, requiring 3 military plane loads to bring them here, is a demonstration of true solidarity in action, and we express again our appreciation. Thousands of humanitarian items delivered with deep and intentional thoughtfulness. Wheelchairs, wheelbarrows, which are at two ends of the spectrum of what is needed. Safety gears, chainsaws, portable generators, pulse oximeters, hygiene and oxygen tank kits, among other essentials.
Mexico expects that this cooperation with a sister Caribbean nation supports ongoing emergency response, health, safety and reconstruction efforts following Hurricane Melissa's passage over the island, and hopes that this assistance provides tangible relief as Jamaica's national strategy continues to focus on assisting the most vulnerable as well as supporting affected families by advancing rehabilitation and recovery on the island.
Senator Johnson-Smith also noted that 2026 marks 60 years of diplomatic relations between Jamaica and Mexico, underscoring the long-standing partnership between the two nations. $11 billion has been set aside in the 2026-2027 estimates of expenditure to drive work on the Western Parish's water supply and resilience improvement program this fiscal year. The project, which has a total cost of $23.3 billion, is set to commence in April 2026 and completed by March 2029. It's being implemented by the Ministry of Water through the National Water Commission to enhance the efficiency, reliability and resilience of the water transmission system between Martha Brae and Leaders Avenue, Montego Bay, and from Lucy to Negril.
This project seeks to achieve interlinkage between our varying water sources across the length and breadth of the North Coast. And it truly seeks to achieve resilience brought about from stable water supply.
The money budgeted for this fiscal year is to fund the design for a new transmission pipeline. It will also facilitate the supply and installation of ductile iron pipes from Martha Brae to Montego Bay and Lucy to Negril, as well as ductile pipes along the service corridors. 33 farmers at the Parnassus Agro Park in Clarendon have received farm tools and supplies valued at $30 million from the government. This is to boost the farmers' capacity to increase production and strengthen Jamaica's food security. The items were officially handed over the Parnassus Agro Park recently. They include 1-acre irrigation systems, fencing materials, seeds and seedlings, crop inputs for 1-acre and half-acre plots, and small tools such as mist blowers and sprayers. Minister of Agriculture Floyd Green says the initiative represents a direct investment in national food security.
We are investing in the farmers so they can invest in their enterprise so that we can get the food that we need to ensure that we have a food secure Jamaica. And everything that we do now from the ministry has to be targeted. And we're not only providing direct support in the form of that $30 million investment in our farmers, we're also, as you would have heard, been focused on training.
The support represents phase 1 of a wider $100 million Southern Plains Agricultural Development Project matching grant scheme, which will also benefit farmers in Amity Hall and Bridgepen. The initiative will be managed by the Agro Investment Corporation, AIC. Neonatal care units across the island are being strengthened to improve quality of care through the launch of a revised neonatal manual. The revision is the first comprehensive update to the guidebook in 20 years. It aims to provide clear, practical guidance for the medical, nursing, and allied health professionals assigned to neonatal units across public health hospitals.
This manual will strengthen quality of care by standardizing clinical practice across neonatal units, supporting clinical audits by the Ministry of Health and Wellness to measure performance and drive improvement, guiding training and mentorship so that staff at every level can deliver care with confidence and competence.
Earlier this week, the manuals were presented to neonatal teams within the Southeast Regional Health Authority, with copies to be given to all public health hospitals. The handover ceremony also featured the launch of the Neonatal Parent Handbook, a guide for families whose sick newborns are admitted to neonatal nurseries. And finally, 7 students at the primary, secondary, and tertiary levels were recognized for their outstanding essays, posters, and photographs during the Jamaica Information Service 2025 Heritage Competition Awards ceremony earlier this week. This year's competition was staged under the theme, Honoring Our People, Protecting the Future. Top honors in the essay category went to Danash Brown of West Indies College Preparatory School in Manchester. Cahill Stewart of Kensington Primary placed second, while Jonathan Clark of Stella Maris Preparatory secured third. In the digital poster category, Elena Elliott captured first place in the grades 10 to 13 division, while Bryce Wilson of Campion College took the award for grades 7 to 9. Brian Levy of York Castle High School secured first place in the illustrated poster category for grades 10 to 13, while Shante Sinclair of the University of Technology emerged winner in the photography category. The winners and other top performers were presented with trophies, vacation packages, gift certificates, laptop computers, and cash prizes. State Minister of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Rhoda Moy Crawford, lauded the JIS on the 15th staging of the competition.
JIS has been providing a credible platform that allows our young people to express themselves through the arts. Thank you for providing this avenue that enables our young people to express themselves, to research, to reflect, and to grow.
The State Minister also encouraged awardees to continue nurturing their creativity, originality, and discipline.
Know that the skills you have developed in competition are life skills. You have also reminded us that young people are not only participants in Jamaica's story, you are authors of Jamaica's next chapter.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lisa Rowe. Thanks for watching.
Do you own land and need a title? Well, the National Land Agency NLA can help. Through the systematic land registration process, the NLA will assist residents to get titles in declared project areas across Jamaica. Systematic land registration is the methodical and orderly registration of parcels of land in a designated area known as systematic adjudication area. For further information on the systematic land registration process, including declared systematic adjudication areas, who can apply and the benefits, visit the National Land Agency's website at www.nla.gov.jm or email asknla@nla.gov.jm. The National Land Agency, one goal.
Reggae music has been spreading across the world, and along with it, the gospel. This Reggae Month, we shine a spotlight on gospel reggae and its impact.
Music has a huge impact on society.
Music could have influenced our culture in such a way where we'd use it to express how we're feeling.
Music isn't just music.
Since the late 1960s, reggae has dominated the musical landscape of Jamaica. Reggae's beginnings may be traced back to the early years of the Jamaican recording industry, that is, the late 1940s and the early 1950s. Reggae's immediate forefathers were ska and rocksteady. From the latter, reggae adopted the use of the bass as a percussion instrument. Gospel is where a lot of the music that influenced ska, rocksteady, and reggae originated. Gospel reggae is currently the subgenre with the quickest rate of growth. To date, many mainstream artists have switched to or at the very least incorporated gospel reggae in their sets. We speak of artists such as Richie Stephens, Judy Mowatt, Lieutenant Stitchie, Sanchez, Papa San, and Carlene Davis, just to name a few. But what caused the switch from secular music to gospel?
I switched from secular music to gospel music. So the beat remained the same, the sound remained the same. Because it is not the rhythm that is immoral, it's the message that's either moral or immoral. And so I was able to continue to use the rhythm of music to bring the gospel of Jesus to the people.
People dancing in the street to a groovy reggae beat, yet everything in life is bittersweet. Sitting in a rum bar won't get you very far. You think life's a big house and a fancy car. Cause your heart can be lonely, though you have life and plenty. Grooving with everyone to the cemetery. You need Jesus in the plan to direct this island. It's not all about seashore and sand.
I started in 1989, actually my first gospel album. This was before my complete transition to my faith. I did a gospel album called Jesus is Only a Prayer Away, and to this day it is still a huge success. But then in 1996, when I recommitted my life to Christ, I did my first official gospel album called Vessel.
When did you fall in love with gospel reggae?
I was heading to church one evening. You know, the guys and were down to church with us holding a vibe. A close friend of mine, he was going Casey at the time. He was a very lyrical, and still is a very lyrical individual. He was freestyling. So, me come down to church now, hear the vibes and thing, and it sounds secular-ish to me. So me I say, how can I sing dancehall music? You know, the church had them down a respect for the Almighty. So by listening to him and hear what exactly he's saying, I'm like, interesting.
The first song I wrote as gospel song was a song titled Sanctified. And I wrote that song, you know, and I was saying God is fighting my battles, you know, when I'm in conflict, and he will keep me from jail so I don't become a convict. I fight for my battle, yes, when me in a conflict, keep me from jail so me no go turn convict. Touch me little soul so me no go turn bandit. God at the encyclopedia, them a pamphlet. Anywhere me go, me carry the Lord with me. And I was just singing and singing about God, and it felt so good.
The first music that I did was Me No Smoke Weed and a track called Man of God Man, because I thought it was my responsibility to proclaim to the world that a God may I deal with now. I am a God man. And I did a song named Me No Smoke Weed Feeling High, because before I got saved, I used to smoke. And I liked that feeling that I got. But when I got the encounter with Jesus Christ, I got a greater feeling.
Well, first of all, let me say that UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, designated reggae music in 2018 as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Can I say anything more?
Spiritual me no miss with this arm them, want them, make them know God I call them. This a heaven academy and no harden. Nah friend, no devil, no demon cast them out. We a sound up here, Bentley alarm them. Young generation, the Peter, the Paul them. Intricate with the bars, them a haul them. Eradicate every snake way in the garden. Man a preach and a teach. Holy Spirit a make it fire unleash. Scriptures a beat, put the devil on a stage. A peculiar thing when the gospel a preach. Me say hear me no, no watch it fear me no. This a no got them sitting no Bruce Wayne no. You coulda hide in a cave and no hear me no. When the judgment it a pass, try save you know. When the wrath of God start on there, me want see y'all who a go run where. You miss a bad man, yeah, where the gun there. Hey Mr. Lee, me ask where the fun there. You shoulda did a God church every Sunday. I praise God and let people bar where the rum there. How where you live a coulda town or country. Listen to the word where Jesus the son say.
God a cover with just like the ozone. Ooh, grace a glisten just like the rose gold. And the fire it a sparkle it a coast stone. Got the party we are running just like the toll road till they say. God a cover with just like the ozone. Ooh, grace a glisten just like the rose gold. And the fire it a sparkle it a coast stone. Got the party we are running just like the toll road.
I got do it. The money what we make I got do it. Even the car we bitch I got do it. And the enemy could never rule it. Big dreams, dreams big like crane. House on the hill when you see me left the lane. Big beds, spaceship, brown plane. Then without a legacy, you know that's lame. Man of God, till the day I die. Daddy billionaire, where you expect I wash in a Jesus blood. And you expect me to stay in the mud. You know see I got do it. The money where we make I got do it. The house where we live I got do it. Prosperity, promotion. You know see I got do it. I got do it.
I want to say to young artists who are in gospel music is that you have to know that this is where you belong. This is what God is saying to you. You have to know that this is my gifting to write and to sing or to play an instrument, and you have to study the Word of God. So when you write, it is words that will complement what God is saying.
There is no doubt that the gospel reggae genre has grown in popularity among Jamaica's Christian and other communities. So let us join its influence and resurrect our reggae legacy.
Every day, we share personal information online, at work, and on our phones. But once it's shared, it can't always be taken back. Protect your data by avoiding oversharing, using strong passwords, and never clicking suspicious links. Be careful what you post. Don't share your live location, and keep your devices updated and secure.
Remember, your data is valuable. Protecting it isn't optional, it's necessary. They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Let that beholder be you. Remember, you were made with purpose. What is that purpose? Our next feature will give some insights with a special focus on celebrating and empowering Black women. Take a look.
The culture has a body of stories and successive generations of storytellers who represent the memory of those people.
And so, understanding who we are completely entails releasing any doubts we may have about ourselves.
What I would like to know
is why are there less light-skinned persons and more black-skinned persons in Jamaica?
To understand more of where I'm from and be more conscious. I don't think you can ever be too conscious.
Why some black people don't really like their color.
My blackness is more than just what happened in slavery times. It's more than that. We are bringing something in that I believe that we need to tell that story.
Dear Black Girl, here's an extraordinary tale of your history, and it begins here.
Most black persons would have come to this region through the process of enslavement. And so that has shaped a lot of our experiences, our cultural experiences, our physical experiences as well. So we can't deny that. But I think that what really should be noted for Jamaican and Caribbean women is that we've had an experience too of resisting. So resisting enslavement, resisting encroachment on our bodies, these types of things are part of your experience as well.
Negro is so often miseducated that we believe we are not contributing unless we have on high heel shoes and stocking and jacket and tie and all of these wonderful things that some outside force tells us that we ought to be.
I think that in Jamaica we can take a lot of things for granted, and one of that is our blackness, right? And so because we take it for granted, we will bleach our skin and we try to look like, you know, our European brothers and sisters, but in all aspects, we are supposed to celebrate our blackness.
There is a general lack of education that we as black people have about the greatness of our skin, of our skin color.
Melanin is so important that it protects us from the sun's harmful UV rays and, for the most part, keeps us safe from skin cancer.
My blackness is unique. My blackness is strong. My blackness is culture.
My blackness is special, unique, and strong.
My blackness is phenomenal. My blackness is what makes me beautiful.
My blackness has allowed for certain opportunities as well, because say in a space they want to show diversity, I would be able to represent there as well.
So when we step out and we go to different countries or we are leaving the island, we know within ourselves that we are, you know, bringing something, that we are a brand, right? And so when we go amongst other people, we're not going to feel inferior. We're not going to feel as though we don't contribute to something. We will be able to say, hey, you know, I bring something because I know what my blackness is.
Traditionally, Jamaican women have also charted their own course in business, in politics, in work in the public sphere. I think generally we have not been very much conforming to what is expected of womanhood for the most part.
What is happening now? We are picking up some habits that I don't like. We're taking the foreign stuff. You cannot take somebody else's culture and put it on your kids. A person who doesn't know their culture is lost. God made us so beautiful. God made us so beautiful. And we should embrace what God gives to us. Don't try and change it.
This is who I am. It's not a struggle. It's not a challenge. It just is.
So, to self, don't try to change me. Don't try to lock me up. For my ancestors have said it, and I believe in it. Black girls are exquisitely beautiful in every shade.
Every year, thousands of babies are born with a congenital heart defect, a condition that affects how their hearts are formed and how blood flows through their bodies. Some children show signs early, others later, but early detection can save lives. If a baby has trouble breathing, feeding, or turns bluish in color, seek medical help right away. This congenital heart defect awareness period, learn the signs, support families, and remember, every heartbeat matters.
As mentioned earlier, it's World Day of Social Justice, an observance that highlights the importance of fairness, equality, and solidarity in building peaceful and inclusive societies. As individuals, we must confront our own instincts to prioritize self-interest and instead work to reduce inequality by ensuring systems like education, healthcare, employment, and justice function fairly for everyone. It's a collective effort, a race where we must make sure everyone crosses the finish line.
From sunrise on the beach to sunsets in the hills, Jamaica is more than a place. It's a vibe. It's the rhythm in our music, the flavor in our food, and the pride in our people. It's how we celebrate life. Bold, proud, and full of energy. From yard to abroad, once you feel it, you know Jamaica is a vibe. Let's keep it positive. Let's keep it proud. Let's keep it Jamaican, because Jamaica is a vibe.
This is where we wrap up today's program. I hope you've been informed, inspired, and uplifted. Join us again tomorrow for another engaging edition of Jamaica Magazine right here on this station. If you've missed any part of today's show, you can catch the repeat and more stories at jis.gov.jm. I'm Katie Aloy Knight. Thanks for watching, and as always, walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.